No, I listen to it all the time. I tell all my friends to Smack It Raw.
Following podcast contains mature content. The views and opinions expressed by the host are not necessarily those of the host. Listener discretion is advised. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the number one wrestling podcast on places where you can find people having sex on the internet, the Smackin It Raw podcast. I am your host, the patron saint of podcast, and the Warden Mad Ritter, and I am here with my co-host. She is host of the She Elite Showcase, Inside the Mind of, In the Crowd, Getting Off, and Story Time with Ms. Katie Kinsey, baby.
Hello.
And filling in for Vicente Alejandro Delgado Estrada this week, we have from the Wrestling Bros podcast, the one, the only, Jaxpo, don't get mad at me, but my favorite ginger without a soul, Dan Bakley.
What's the soul we speak of?
Yeah, we know nothing about souls. Now, Dan asked me a very poignant question before the show about what's going on with Pornhub, and I gave him a brief synopsis, but so the other day, we're in a group chat, and Will sends a picture, and it is a picture of my arch nemesis, hashtag Ritter over Riddle, and it is him wishing Brazzers a happy birthday and saying, "I'll see you," or maybe "I'll see you soon," alluding that, you know, my prophecy that he was going to leave wrestling and just jump full into porn was going to be a thing. Now, for those of you who were unaware, we got removed from Pornhub. Not only did we get removed from Pornhub, but Brazzers and Pornhub are one owns the other. I'm not sure if Pornhub owns Brazzers or Brazzers owns Pornhub, or if it's like a parent company that owns both. But they're in cahoots. They're together. Brazzers basically runs Pornhub, which means that if they are fans of Matt Riddle, and the Creation World page did get shut down, the number one wrestling podcast on Pornhub, mind you, for a time, formerly the number one wrestling podcast on Pornhub before they cut us off, that maybe Mr. Riddle had something to do with us losing our page and our spot. You know, maybe he couldn't share the spotlight with me over on Pornhub because he knew I was a bigger star. I don't know. Bagley, who would you rather fuck, me or Riddle? Come on.
You. That's without a debate.
Thank you. Not a debate. Anyway, now that you've heard my conspiracy theory that Matt Riddle got us kicked off Pornhub, I want to thank everyone who's joining us, whether you're joining us live over at twitch.tv/creationworld, where if you have an Amazon Prime account, you have Prime Gaming. You take that Prime Gaming account and you take that Twitch account and you link them together. Fusion Ha, as Travis says, or, you know, I like to do when you do that, we get a free sub from Amazon Prime every month on Twitch that you can give away. Costs you nothing because you're already paying for Prime. You don't have to do anything but link the accounts and then go through your internet browser and click the free Prime sub and give it to your favorite Twitch streamer. It could be us. Could be Katie over at the She Elite Showcase. Could be any of our friends who are streaming on Twitch, or any of your favorite Twitch streamers, hands down, period. It doesn't have to be us. But if you have it, use it to support someone you know on Twitch who is, you know, trying to entertain you like we are. Whoever your favorite is, or you could do like me. You could just kind of do like a circle jerk rotation, and every month someone new gets it. You know, you got to keep a roster. I got a roster of podcasts, and once a month, every other month, someone's getting it. But
okay.
If not, you guys can go to youtube.com/creationworld, where it is free to like, to subscribe, to comment. Katie, what does that do?
Boost the algorithm and helps find new listeners.
That is correct. And Katie, why is that important?
Well, seeing as how you just said you have a roster of podcasters, you're a whore.
I am a whore. You are on that roster, so careful. I'm a whore for your likes, for your comments, for your entertainment, for your views, for your attention, ladies and gentlemen. What we do here, the dumb shit I say, the fun that we have, it's all to entertain you. That is the whole point of us getting on every week and having these discussions, which means I need you to share me around like the whore that I am. I need you to tell everyone you know, friends, cousins, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, if they're wrestling fans or they're horror fans or they're fans of video games, nerd shit, whatever Creation World provides. If we've got something they're into, like maybe House of the Dragon, which is back, and hashtag them dragons is back. Any of that stuff we have to offer, I need them to go and like and subscribe and comment and watch us and spread the word about Creation World and how fucking awesome we are. Maybe you're over there on Twitter. You got friends on Twitter like, hey, have you guys seen this guy? I was literally at Smackdown last night. You guys can come up, say hi. If you like the show, I'm not a mean person. I look mean, but I'm not. I'm a big fucking teddy bear. A giant penis. So come say hi. Come talk to me. Shake my hand. Ask me about the show. Like, let's chat. Do what you got to do. And, tell everyone that you know about me. And Katie and Bakley and all of our friends that you see work with us. Thank you, Tommy. I appreciate it. Also, while you're doing that, I want to watch you flick that bean. I need you to flick that bean, and get notified every time we go live every Thursday at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern for the Creation Conversation, which is all that nerd-ish. Every Saturday, 10 p.m. Central, 11 p.m. Eastern for this show you are watching right now, which is Smackin It Raw. And every other Sunday, at least for the next 3 episodes, but 7 weeks, after House of the Dragon, for Getting Offed, including this Sunday, right after hashtag them dragons, will be trivia, Trick or Trivia 2, all things Jason. So come check it out. Come join us. Hang out in the chat. Reek from Young Kings Wrestling. Will. What?
I'm just looking at Tommy because he probably forgot again.
Tommy is supposed to be there, though. Just has offered to back up if Tommy does not show up, and I've already threatened Tommy since he keeps forgetting. But Tommy should be there, and Will from that place over there that we love with the botched and the spots and the chairs and the shots and the radios that are riveted in a city. Will be there as well, all competing to join Katie in the finals at the end of the year to determine the first ever Getting Offed horror champion. So come check us out tomorrow night as well. Now that I've said all my bullshit.
Does he know that it's the old time?
Yeah, no, I told him when we're going live.
Okay. Just making sure.
11 p.m. tomorrow, or whenever the show ends. Hopefully 11 p.m. I told Travis he's got to try and end it because I got 3 podcasts I'm shooting tomorrow, and yeah, so it should be 11 p.m. But anyway, Katie, news and rumors.
Yes.
What do you got for us?
I have things. AJ Styles is gonna go back to Japan. He's gonna go to Noah to face
Fuji.
11 p.m. Central, midnight Eastern, Tommy.
I was gonna try and say the first name. Naomichi Marufuji at Destination, which is the same day as the Marigold show. So there's going to be a lot of wrestling that day.
Did you say the name right?
I did my best.
I listened. I defer to Bakley when it comes to all things New Japan. He's who keeps me in the loop. So
it's not New Japan.
Japanese wrestling.
It's pro wrestling now.
It's all the same shit.
Yeah. It's not the same.
Just like over there, they're like, yeah, WWE. It's all the same shit. AEW, it's all WWE.
Yeah, so AJ Styles is going to have that match. Reebok teaming with AEW again. This time, it's not a Young Buck shoe. It's a shoe in remembrance of Brody Lee. So purple and I believe black. I only saw one picture of it. I haven't fully looked at everything. But I don't know the specifics. I don't know the logistics. All I know is that they're in talks to do it. Yes, Matt.
This is directed at anyone that might be on Twitter who is a AEW fan and takes every opportunity to take shots at WWE. I saw a lot of people with AEW names and things in their fucking profile talking about how they don't like the Wyatt Sick6 shit because they feel like they're just trying to capitalize and make money off of dead Bray Wyatt.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to look very closely in the mirror about these Brody Lee shoes, if that's how you feel, and ask yourself if it bothers you as much or if you're just biased as fuck. Now, here's the deal. I have no issue with them doing the Brody Lee shoes in honor of Brody Lee. I think it's fucking cool. I also love the Wyatt Sick6 shit. It's a fucking company. Of course they're trying to make money. That's what they do. Everything they do is to turn a profit. Yes, they would not put it on TV. They would not create these things if they didn't think it was going to create a profit.
Yeah.
The point is to turn a profit. Now, what they do with that profit and where they allocate those funds, is money made off these t-shirts going to JoJo? Because I know all the money that was made off Bray's other stuff that they've released was going to Bray's family. So is it terrible that they're making money to then support the family of, that lost their father? Same thing with Brody Lee. Where's this money going? Is it going to his family? Is it going to whatever? Let's not be pricks on the internet. You don't have to just be like, oh, AEW is so much better and WWE. They're billionaires who don't give a fuck about you, and they're giant corporations regardless. One may be bigger than the other. It's all the same shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I ignore people on the internet because everyone's stupid. So
I don't go in their comments. I don't say shit to them because it's a waste of my fucking breath. But I have a platform, and I'm here to yell into the void. And if they fucking hear me and they don't like it, you can suck my big dick.
Will you calm down?
Oh no, never mind. There's a line from Stand By Me I was going to use, but we'll just move on. Suck my fat one, you dime store hood.
Yeah. Listen, I love Stand By Me. It's a great movie.
It is.
Titus O'Neil is writing a book. It's entitled Wrestling with Fatherhood. And then the little thing underneath it is my championship journey to my greatest title, Dad. And I think that is the cutest thing in the world because he is so adorable.
He is.
He's one of the best people. He barely, he's still associated with WWE, but he doesn't wrestle. He's just a good humanitarian. And he's just a good dad. Those kids are so cute. And he raised them right. Shout out to Titus O'Neil doing good things. I think it's on pre-order right now. I don't know when the book actually comes out, but
just the story with him is just fantastic. How he was raised, just football, playing in Florida, turned that into wrestling. Just like you said, even though he doesn't, per se, wrestle right now, barely has been in there, he's done whatever he can to stay within the company. He does good things. His kids were raised the right way. They play football now, following in his footsteps, and he's just always happy. So,
oh yeah,
and constantly tripping. I'm going back through NXT. Not only was the first person eliminated from season 2 of NXT, but before the famous World's Greatest Royal Rumble ring slide, he tripped carrying the keg. This man just falls over his own feet left and right on live TV.
It happens.
Hey, if you can make money doing it, why not?
Yeah, fuck it.
Fuck.
No, Titus is awesome, and that is a great title for a book. You always ask on your interview show, if you were to write a book about yourself, what would your title be? And mine, I thought, I've told you repeatedly that I need to redo that episode because mine sucked. But
my God, name the time and place. We'll redo it.
Anyway, no, that's a great title. I love that.
It is. And then the last thing I have that was sent in the group chat earlier because I wasn't really on my phone. Kayla Braxton has announced that next week will be her last show with WWE. She made a very nice post talking about Michael Cole bringing her in and doing the bump and everything she's done with Paul Heyman. And she's ready to spread her wings and fly. She's ready to go do better things. Or not even better things, just more things. So I'm very intrigued to see who they bring in to replace Kayla. It's probably going to be another blonde because there's not enough of them. There's so many goddamn blondes who do interviews. So many.
Yeah. I'm happy for her. Kayla has put up with a lot of shit being in the role that she's in through COVID and her getting COVID and the repeated harassment that she got because of that. I've said that Kayla has not looked happy as a backstage interviewer for a while now. Like she went away for a little while. She lost a lot of weight. She came back, and personality wise, she just didn't feel like the old Kayla Braxton anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a feeling that she's kind of been over this job and this space and doing this thing for a while now. And it's probably like the end of her contract. And now she's just ready to spread her wings and fly. So like, I hope she flies somewhere where she finds happiness. I hope that she's successful in the next thing she does. She was awesome at what she did, but you know, if it doesn't bring you joy, there's no reason to fucking stay. You know, wherever she ends up, I'm happy for her. So
yeah, she probably just has a talented mind where she wants to do a little bit more than what she did. She wants to experiment. So it's not a bad thing. It's just she wants to have more on her plate.
Yeah.
That was it. Go ahead.
Well, I guess that means it's time for two or swallow.
No, I believe it's actually spit or swallow. That's crazy.
I can fix that. I can go in there and edit it right now.
You could do it, and then I can back.
You could. Vince. So I went to Smackdown last night. As I said, I met up with Vince. We hung out, and Vince had a request last night when we were at the bar after Smackdown hanging out. So I'm going to honor Vince's request, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to blow my load at the beginning of the show. I am swallowing the debut of the Wyatt Sick6, the Texas Massacre. I've been trying so hard to figure out like a middle thing, like the Texas WWE Raw Massacre, but nothing really works for Chainsaw, and the fact that they didn't have a fucking chainsaw out there really kind of killed it for me. But I've been trying all week to do something that fit for Chainsaw. And I mean, Raw is there, but something before Raw. I mean,
it doesn't have to be anything before Raw. It could be the Texas Raw Massacre.
Yeah. It doesn't hit the same. It doesn't hit the same. Not in my head anyway. Well, yeah, no, we had a fucking massacre. Lights go out. Bray's door appears. It slams open. I don't know if we're going by what names we're going by yet. We don't have a lot of information about this group. We know Uncle Howdy, right? There's a woman that resembles Abby the Witch and or Sister Abigail, depending on how you want to look at it, who does a very Ring Girl-esque crawl to the lantern on center stage. Then the camera decides to not go through the wide open door, but around the side for some reason, which was fucking weird, into the back. There's a pile of bodies in a mist. Everyone's trying to figure out who the bodies are. And there's Ramblin' Rabbit holding a fucking mallet that says help. That reminded me a lot of this dude I used to know named Eric Rowan, who was a bludgeon brother and carried a hammer, like very similar builds. And then we follow that through, and there's this buzzard sitting, you know, crisscross applesauce, just hanging out in a room full of dead people with broken monitors and sparks and blood on the wall and all sorts of crazy shit. Very silent, artistic type that Vulture seems to be to me. And then as we go through another curtain, we are abruptly attacked by a man in a pig's mask that has kind of like a gas mask on it. I don't know. He gave me cult leader vibes. And we blow past him to see Chad Gable got popped in the forehead. Everyone's been making jokes about how, you know, he took one to the dome and Chad is dead. Apparently dead men can get medically cleared though, because Chad is showing up for a triple threat match.
He's showing the fuck up. Yes, he did. That's what I was gonna say. He's not dead. 'Twas a flesh wound. He's fine.
He just forgot to say thank you.
Which then allowed us to get to Uncle Howdy, who strolls through the mist. What?
Oh no, sorry. My hair's.
Oh, it looked like you were shaking your head. No, I'm like, I watched this like 6 times. I have it fucking memorized.
No,
he strolls through the mist. Everyone follows him out onto stage where we meet up with, Abby. We're going to go with Abby for now. They all gather around the lantern. He picks up the lantern, says we're here, blows it out. Everything goes dark, and I come so hard in my pants, which was awkward because I was, out and about when it happened. Not the best place to come. But yeah, no, I fucking loved all of this. I went to Smackdown and I'm like, I don't care. They didn't have the shirt size that I wanted. This is about a size smaller than I normally wear, but I mean, it looks fucking good on me. Anyway, not the point. Point is, I bought it anyway because I needed to walk out with that shirt so I could wear it today. I wanted to have that shirt. It was on sale. I got it. I also got one from my boy CM Punk, who's not doing so well. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, no, Wyatt Sick6, big swallow, huge swallow. Love the way it was executed. Love the way it came off. Everything they did, and I can't wait for more.
Okay. I was intrigued to see how they're going to do it, especially because it has been teased for about a month of like time codes, and we were promised a massacre. And I expect Chad Gable will be a part of that massacre, but it's fine. He's okay.
So
fine.
There was a clue that I saw that because everyone was focusing in on like the Sami Zayn match, right? And how the thing blipped over and blah, blah, blah. But I saw a clue after that when everyone was talking about how it's going to be Sami Zayn. One of the clues there was a cheat, like a thin tree that had CG carved into it. Chad
I
Gable.
saw that after the fact, yeah.
And I saw that and I was like, it's not Sammy they're coming for. They're coming for Chad because Chad is a bad family man and he's going to learn.
I'll learn today. But like, couldn't have been Sammy? Had it been Chad?
Sammy breaks up families too. So, either one of them could have got it.
Exactly. Like, he's broken up many a family.
And poor Jey, so he's like, I'm going to take the lantern. I'm going to take all the people with me. He's going like this. I'm like, he's been doing that for a while. I'm like, too long. And then the power goes out and you're like, this guy better run. And then they interview him afterwards. He was like,
run.
Hey. It was like the Wyatt Sick6. He was like, they can have the people now. He was like, I'm not trying to mess with them. He was like I was using it. It's their thing. I don't want to smoke anymore. I was honoring Brody. He was like, I was honoring the Bray. Boom. I'm out. Main event Jey Uso is out. I'm focused on the money in the bank. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, he was like, he's out.
What's really interesting about this, there's a lot of rumors and a lot of stuff coming out and a lot of speculation. But from what I've heard, this is not going to be like a normal every week, blah, 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 blah sort of thing. This is going to kind of filter in and it's supposed to trickle down and affect a bunch of different stories in a way that makes sense and is meaningful and should be very cool going forward if handled correctly and given the time to do what it needs to do. Because as we know, especially in 2024, wrestling fans have zero fucking patience. I myself being one, because I just called this the never-ending hand job last week and begged for them to let me finish. And they did. They let me finish all over the inside of my pants. I appreciate it. Thank you. It was getting sore. But I was happy. Very happy.
I like the little Easter eggs that they had. Like Uncle Howdy was wearing the Bray Wyatt and gloves. He was wearing those. Person that we think is Rowan, just like you said, he had the Bludgeon Brothers the mallet, and then on the back of his mask was Brody's Bludgeon Brothers mask. Somebody spotted that there. That they actually somebody there that took a video. You could see the Bludgeon Brother mask on the back of the rabbit mask. So that was a cool thing that Rowan was able to honor. Who we think it is. Was able to honor Brody within this. So I thought that was really cool.
There's also the speculation, inference, belief that the Wyatt Sick6, the sixth member, is spiritually Bray Wyatt, with the lantern being there and everything like that. I am more of the inclination that when they tell us that, that's what I'm going to go with. I'm not just going to make assumptions, even if it seems logical, because I hate when people are come out and it's like, it's obviously, it's like, well, no, nothing's obvious because they haven't told us jack shit yet. And I mean, Alexa Bliss still could come out and be a part of this. Her relationship with Nikki, all of that. she was also doing some weird shit before Bray came back, before she got pregnant and had to leave. What up, Dad Hat? Thanks for stopping by. Also, Allison said, Dan, she got really excited for you.
Oh, he waved. You were talking.
Yeah. But we'll see what happens. As of now, we have 5 members and then theoretically a 6th spiritual member in Bray, which I'm cool with either way. Whatever they do, it's just I like being told what's going on and not speculating and acting like I know what the fuck is happening when I'm not in the writer's room and I'm not actually doing shit. So that's where I'm at with that.
Yeah.
Daniel Bakley, or swallow?
I'm gonna go to NXT. I'm gonna swallow, of course, the beginning. We got the Battle Royal. I talked with you about TNA a lot lately, Tony, and watch it, yada yada yada. It's been one of my favorite shows to watch the last 4 or 5 months. And this Battle Royal had a lot of different angles, not just with NXT, but with TNA. Yeah, of course, you had Joe Hendry come out. One of the things on YouTube where if something came close to being out the Wyatt Sick6 when it comes to YouTube views, it was the debut of Joe Hendry, I believe, on YouTube. Comes out, they give him a promo, which I was shocked at. And then he gets thrown out right away because of his rival right now in TNA, Frankie Kazarian, which I'm surprised that he made the Final 4. Surprised he made it that far. And
which is crazy to me because I saw all of these people on the internet being like, it's so disrespectful. Look at how WWE's treated. They make him go to their developmental and then Joe Hendry gets eliminated right away and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you mean that they're furthering a story that's going on through NXT TV do you guys even watch TNA or are you guys just talking shit? Again, is this just AEW accounts who want to talk shit? Or are you actually watching the program? Because now that I am watching the program, I can fucking say that. It's only been like 2 or 3 weeks, but I can fucking say it now. Are you really watching the program? Do you know what you're talking about?
And then they filmed a little segment afterwards with Joe Hendry telling Shawn Michaels, I'll be back. He was like, this isn't the last you've seen of Joe Hendry. So
if you keep saying his name, he will appear. Is that what you're trying to do here? Okay.
Exactly. And I like the fact that Evans won the Battle Royal. That was pretty cool. But you see, I like the little storyline of the fact that one guy didn't get thrown out. He just got taken out because Oro Menza, and then that showed up later on in a match we talked about. I just liked how they did it kind of perfectly. They made some storylines. They intertwined TNA within it. You only had 2 TNA guys in it, but it was perfect. They got their shine in there. NXT got what they needed. It just, to me, it worked out perfectly. And it was a fun Battle Royal.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Hendry showed up talking shit before he got in the ring. I'm kind of like, are you not surprised that coming out like and doing that he wasn't going to get thrown out right away? I wouldn't have been surprised if everyone, after what he said, jumped him and threw him out right away as like the biggest threat. Like, does that not make him? You guys feel honored? Like they got rid of him right away because he's the biggest threat. Like anyway, that
made him look big. That made him look bigger than it did if he just was in it for a couple minutes and then got thrown out.
Exactly.
Or lasted until like the Final 4. That made him look better.
A wild Apollo Crews appeared.
Like a fucking
out of nowhere. Yeah, like where the fuck you been?
Getting his ass beat on SmackDown by Legado.
Apollo Crews?
Yeah.
Yep.
Backstage.
I don't remember that.
I do.
You mentioned Javon Evans wins. Along with this, we also had he won.
Ethan Page was never eliminated.
Well,
can't win something if no one gets if there's one person left.
You are not incorrect, which is why Ethan Page had an issue, and we had the match where Ethan Page defeated Javon Evans in the main event of the same show. Because Ethan Page had issues with the fact that he was not eliminated. Trick, Javon, Ethan, and Sean Spears all brawl because Sean Spears showed up. And I mean, if Ethan Page and Sean Spears are hanging out, and then Lexis King shows up, and those 3 start hanging out, and then maybe in the not too distant future with whatever they're doing with that group of 3 men versus say Trick, Javon, and one other person, a 4th man from Winterfell, one of those boys up there, the Starks, shows up. Just saying. Cody's kids in the house, baby.
Bring Ricky. Free him, please.
Hashtag free Ricky. I wore my my free Tony D shirt last night to SmackDown.
As you should.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm with you, Bakley. Swallow the whole thing. I loved how everything went. Like you said, we had we were promised, it wasn't just the NXT roster. We saw main roster guys, we saw TNA guys, we saw NXT roster guys. Javon Evans is getting fucking rocket put on his back like real quick. Especially after the shit that everyone on Twitter talked about him after his debut match, even though he showed out. Like, all good shit. I'm down. Yeah, anything you want to add before I go to you, Katie?
No, I think you guys basically covered it. It was a good way to start. Led through the whole show. Shout out to Ethan Page and Javon and Sean.
All right. Katie, spit on that thing or swallow.
Please don't ever.
Since you don't want me to do the Tuah, you roll your eyes every time I do it.
Because it's so. I've seen it so much. The past
I
day.
promise you that we are capitalizing on this episode, and that I will not do it again.
If it happens next week, I'm gonna be mad. I'm just saying.
Well, now you said that. Maybe just one.
No. Anyways, I'm swallowing something that I was not expecting to start Monday Night Raw. Seth freaking Rollins came back looking like Doug Dimmadome, looking great. I was so happy. I screamed because Seth had surgery not that long ago on a torn meniscus, torn to hell, torn to shreds. I didn't expect him back anytime soon. So like that's crazy.
At all.
No, like I was like maybe August, maybe at SummerSlam, but like it's still like a month and a half away.
Rebuild, redesign, reclaim, baby.
Design, yeah. I was like, is that the word? Yeah, whatever. Regardless, that's Seth fucking Rollins. And listen, he's like, I want the title that like I built. So Priest comes out and brings up some good points. Seth brings up some good points to Damian. Both have won Money in the Bank.
Well, you're gonna hear it a lot more this episode, so
yeah. She apparently just fired Will. They both have won Money in the Bank. They both capitalized on said Money in the Bank at WrestleMania. And just like the whole conversation, and Damian has proved himself as a champion. Technically did beat McIntyre in his home country with or without the help of a certain Phil. To be determined. Almost lost the leg doing it. But he's fine. Apparently there was nothing actually wrong with his leg, which is a miracle in itself. That his leg was actually okay after that. But
She told me I wasn't allowed to be happy and I had to leave.
Listen, I am ecstatic for the idea of Seth and Damian at Money in the Bank. We could possibly... Now, I don't know how this is going to go. I saw this theory on Twitter, and I'd be a little mad. Pulling a... Fuck, what year is that? I just did a whole Money in the Bank thing. 2016, where it was Roman and Seth, and then Dean had the case and cashed in, so technically all three members of the Shield had held the title that night. You could realistically do something like that. Obviously not with the Shield, but say Finn Balor fucking wins somehow if he's in a qualifying match, and then cashes in on Damian. I don't know. But I'm excited to see Seth and Damian. And Seth, I'm just happy that Seth is back. That's one star back. Where the fuck is Rhea Ripley? Oh, yeah.
Just lose qualifying match.
Hey, he could have they do a losers one.
Last chance battle royal or whatever.
One of those things. Yeah, they could.
No, I'm with you. Priest comes out paying his respects, saying he really wanted to cash in on Seth Rollins, and that wasn't the case. Seth says Damian lost a leg in London, and they have a lot in common, except at one point, Seth grew a set and stood on his own 2 feet, and Damian has yet to do that and tells him you need to leave the Judgment Day. You need to get the fuck out of there. You need to be a man. Grow the fuck up. And then, like you said, he's like, oh, I need to grow the fuck up, huh? How about, well, instead of you qualifying for Money in the Bank, why don't you just come fight me in Money in the Bank for that belt, bitch? And I'm like, there you go. Look at you growing a pair and making stupid decisions. Good on you. Yeah, no, he wants to prove that he's better than Seth. And I was excited for Seth's return, so that's a swallow in and of itself.
Seth is looking awful like he's ready to smoke a cigar.
It's crazy. It's great. It's crazy to think that's been 3 months because they did say that's how long it was going to take, and he kind of took off a couple weeks off the end of it. But it was like he was off. He was off. The only time that I saw him on camera at all was Kentucky Derby, and ironically, that's the outfit that he wore to the Derby. So he must have had so much of a blast that he wanted to wear that again, or he just never took that outfit off and just decided I'm going to wear it until I come back.
Maybe he bought a horse in Chicago.
Maybe, but I think the whole segment was pretty cool because I think the whole concept is to try and legitimize Damian Priest, and just like you said, you need to grow a pair. People are questioning Priest's title run, the way the match went with him having the blooper with his leg. Luckily, he's all good because we all know that at SummerSlam it's going to be Gunther challenging, and you want the best challenger possible because just my thought process is Gunther probably will be the next guy to get it with Bash at Berlin a couple weeks afterwards. You want to cash in on the views on YouTube with him going to his home country. But you want to
question: do you make Damian Priest look like that much bigger of a deal by having him beat Seth going into his match with Gunther? Or do you put the belt on Seth and have Gunther beat Seth, which would suck for Seth because that's a very short title run, like to get it back and lose it right away. But that could just be his story going forward is the constant chase of trying to get and then hold on to his fucking belt or what he feels is his fucking belt. So, like,
I think it'd be better for him to lose the Priest because you do have that built-in storyline from that segment a couple months ago with him and Gunther.
Yeah,
you did have that segment with the two of them, so he can always go back to that later on, even when he builds himself back up after losing the Priest. Like,
I agree. We need to make Priest a made man. We need to let him get this win, and we need to let him get this win without any bullshit.
Yeah.
If he can walk away from beating Seth Rollins somewhat clean, or at least like, let's say Judgment Day comes down and he refuses to take the cheap win because Judgment Day came down and then earns it later on. Something along those lines. Like, yeah, we'll see. But Matt, Tuah or swallow? I'm going to swallow something I was there live for that I got to see, ladies and gentlemen, which was this is the most conflicting swallow I have ever had to choke down. Because everything about this I loved, but it's also everything that I hate in wrestling all at the same time. Because one Raw drafted superstar, Phil Brooks, also known as CM Punk, he came home, and I got to see him live, which is something I've always wanted to do, and I never got to do. I took a little break for about 4 years from wrestling, and that was like the big Punk era, and by the time I got back into it, it was right as he was fucking leaving in 2014.
Fuck this guy, Matt. I don't want him to see me.
So I never got to see him live, and I got to, but then also I have spent years bitching about brand splits, so I can't just sit here and act like I'm cool with it when he shows up on the wrong show. But he comes out and cuts a great fucking promo about pressure and the pressure that he's under to come back and all of these things, and how Drew quit because he couldn't handle the pressure. And then motherfucking Paul Heyman comes out our boy's best friend. And he's like, listen, you were sitting next to my kids when I got inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's hot as balls out here in Chicago, outside, but it's also hot as balls inside this arena when CM Punk opens up the show in Chicago. And I'm like, I fucking love you, Paul. I love you so fucking much. And they talk, and he's like, listen, Roman's not here, and these Samoans and Tongans, they're fucking crazy, and they're not happy that you are a bigger star in Chicago than Solo is. So I need you to leave. Like, let me do you this favor and get you the fuck out of here, and then you can do me a favor. At which point, when CM Punk doesn't leave, Solo and crew come out to face down CM Punk, and CM Punk's like, what favor am I going to do you if and he's like, take me with you, because Paul does not want to be part of this in any way, shape, or form. He wants the fuck out. Love it. CM Punk, I mean, he said it earlier in the promo, right? He's like, I did it the Chicago way. He was talking about Drew. He's like, I didn't just walk away. I murdered him. And by that, I mean his career made him quit. Like, CM Punk, especially in Chicago, whether real life MMA fight record aside, whether he thinks he's going to win or lose, ladies and gentlemen, that man's not walking away from a fucking fight, even if he knows he's going to lose it against a Samoan and two Tongans. But he gets saved by Randy and KO. Or Cody. No, he gets saved by Cody with the bats. Randy and KO come later. There's a lot of stuff that's going on here, right? Cody comes in with the bats. They're swinging bats. Cody challenges Solo to a match in the main event. One-on-one. Solo accepts. Solo goes back to Paul, and they have a little talk, and Paul's like, listen, Roman and I agreed that CM Punk was off limits, right? Like, we weren't going to do that. And then you're just supposed to keep Cody in line until Roman gets back. Like, you're not supposed to really fuck with Cody. Just make sure he doesn't step out of line. And this man looks Paul Heyman dead in the eyes, and he goes, Roman ain't coming back. And I was like, what? The fuck?
Solo murdered Roman.
What did you and the Tongans do to Roman? All right, what do you mean he's not coming back?
They Wyatt Sick6 him.
Yeah.
Okay. That made me okay. All right. Throughout the night, Tongans fighting Randy, fighting KO stuff. We'll talk about qualifying matches and bullshit later. Just brawls, right? Main event. Motherfucking Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa. And the debut. I was getting ready to do it. I fucked it up. The debut of the debut of Jacob Fatu. It all rhymes. Fatu. Here's where I take issue, right? You have the sons of Rikishi, Fatu, who are the Usos. Except for one who is Sikoa. And now you have the cousin of the Uso Sikoas, who is now a Fatu. And I know they're all family, but I'm going to need you guys to, like, come up with a singular last name for everybody. Like, I know everyone's going to get mad and be like, no, he was Jacob Fatu, the Samoan werewolf, which I just learned before the show, so I'm not going to act like I really know what the fuck I'm talking about. But anyway, let him be that. And I get that, and I'm cool with that, right? Like, we let Tama Tonga be Tama Tonga. We let Tonga Loa be Tonga Loa. Let Jacob Fatu be Fatu. But, like, they're supposed to be fucking family, and it's weird that none of them have the same last name, except for the twins. Cousins. It's weird. But Solo is not a cousin to the Usos.
Well, I mean, I know.
Solo Uso.
That sounds stupid.
I understand that. I get that.
Hence, Solo Sikoa.
But he shows up and he fucking wrecks house. And now this two Samoan, two Tongan fucking faction is it was beastly, but it is even it is scary. The destruction that these guys have. And I felt all smart and shit because I vaguely know shit that doesn't happen in WWE. And I had people behind me, they're like, do you know who that is? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's Jacob Fatu. And I was like, I really hope it's not someone else and I'm not fucking this up. But I knew it wasn't Hickey Licker from New Japan. I knew it wasn't him. And I was pretty sure it wasn't Godzilla Fatu. Was fairly certain he wasn't there. So Jacob.
That definitely should be his name.
Team Jacob. Hashtag Team Jacob. Yeah, no. And the part that I skipped over, which is also conflicting, because there's another Raw superstar that showed up tonight, ladies and gentlemen. A man who doesn't even work for the company. So I guess it's not really breaking the brand split if you don't fucking work for the company anymore because you quit.
Yeah.
If you quit on Monday Night Raw and you're not hired, I guess you can just show up wherever the fuck you want, including in Chicago, to get payback on the man that cost you the championship in your hometown. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like CM Punk shouldn't have known this was coming or didn't deserve it. He flew all the way to Scotland to be petty. But we are stage promo. Oh, I froze. There we go.
There you go.
He flew all the way to Scotland to be petty. Like, this is what he gets, right? And we're getting a backstage promo with Waller and DIY, and then all of a sudden, there's just some like shaking and banging going on.
I thought it was Wyatt Sick6 and I got excited.
Yeah.
I did too. I was in the arena. I was so excited. There was a couple things that I thought was Wyatt Sick6 and I got excited for, and then it wasn't, but neither here nor there. I got enough. I was happy. That door comes up and CM Punk is laying on the ground, and there is just a hulking, massive Drew McIntyre, who then picks CM Punk up onto his shoulders, walks through the back, out, drops this man disrespectful as fuck in front of all of us in Chicago.
Like a sack of potatoes.
And then robs him.
He did.
Robbed the man in front of all of us. And I was in the 200 section. I couldn't get down there and do anything. They lied to us about security. I didn't know where they were and if they were going to stop me. I wanted to save CM Punk, but I couldn't. All right. I'm not the fastest. I wasn't going to make it. But they robbed him live in Chicago, left him bloody and bleeding, put him out on a stretcher, and robbed that man in front of his hometown crowd. Fuck you, Drew McIntyre. But I got to be there for it.
Key component here. Nick Aldis comes out and gets in Drew's face and pushes him, and Drew fucking pushes back. I'm like, oh my god, Nick Aldis is gonna fight Drew McIntyre.
What the fuck is it? You can't fire him.
Adam Pearce is pussy and won't do shit. Nick Aldis is ready to scrap always. Scrap daddy who? Nick Aldis.
And what does Nick have to say about it? Because it's not like Drew attacked a SmackDown superstar. He attacked a Raw superstar. So he attacked somebody from a different brand. So, you know.
Kids off my fucking show.
Yeah. So it's kind of
Adam Pearce control your fucking roster.
And he technically did it out. And he technically did it outside the arena. So he didn't do it inside. He just brought him in.
He did rob a man inside the arena.
But he also, I talked about this with Matt earlier. He walked through the entire backstage and Gorilla. Not a single soul. This beefed up security was nowhere to be seen. Like, you guys
DIY and Grayson would just stare at him like, what?
That's what I said to Matt.
My thing was, so we were told that beefed up security was there for the Wyatt Sick6. They were given specific instructions. You see men in masks with hammers or creepy dolls or anything, you handle that. Do not leave your post. You keep an eye out. We cannot have people murdered like Chad Gable on SmackDown. This is Fox. Hey. This is national TV. We can't do this. This isn't cable. We can't have that, right? So they were doing their job. Their job was to protect murder on national TV. Couldn't have that.
They clearly didn't.
Then CM Punk got murdered, but that wasn't what they were supposed to look for. And also, after watching what he did to CM Punk and seeing him walk through, like, who was gonna fucking step in Drew McIntyre? Like, really, who was gonna step up?
You just needed a group of people.
After what CM Punk did to him in his country of Scotland, you know, it was like, I'm going to do that to you in your city of Chicago. Now we're even.
In your country of Chicago.
Swallowing the debut of Jacob Fatu, everything CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Bloodline, even the fact that I was live in the arena and watched CM Punk get murked and robbed on live TV because I got to be there for it. I got to be there for the debut of Hawk 2 Jacob Fatu. Hashtag Team Jacob. all of that, which flowed throughout from the beginning of the show to the very end of the show. I love when there's a thread that works its way through the whole show. Made SmackDown very entertaining to be at, be live for, and be a part of, and I loved every second of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
But you know, Nick, if you let Raw superstars just stay the fuck on Raw, this wouldn't have been a problem. So, like, that's on you, bro.
No, but Chicago was like, we want CM Punk.
Oh, we did. I'm not gonna listen. As much as I've been about the brand split, I told you guys in the chat, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I didn't want to fucking see CM Punk in Chicago. I'm not. I'm not gonna lie.
You got a lot of CM Punk.
Yeah, I
you
saw.
Didn't expect you wanted
to see the dead body of CM Punk.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I got to see CM Punk. I got to see his blood. I got to see, all sorts of things from CM Punk. Yeah, I got to see him get robbed.
If you want to give blood, you can just go do that somewhere else. They have a place for that,
They do. They do.
Blood bank.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Dan, spit or swallow.
Okay, I'm gonna go to TNA. They opened it up. Speaking about, of course, the system, you got Moose there. You have Santino come out and said, I thought of a way to deal with everything going on with you. There's so many top guys in TNA to challenge you. I figured out a way to do that. He came up with the news of the road to Slammiversary, where at Slammiversary, it's going to be a 6-man elimination match for the TNA World title. So each week they're going to have a one-on-one match to determine who's going to be in it. And in that match, the first match on Thursday was you had Josh Alexander going up against Eric Young. Great match. Loved it. I even loved even more the fact that they did a promo beforehand of them talking about facing each other, both being from Canada. The Slammiversary is going to be in Montreal, Canada, next month. Talking about that, just about why they're there. Eric Young being like, I need this. Josh Alexander saying, this is a guy that's been in the business for 20 years. He's the heartbeat of TNA. It was like, I'd be remiss not to say that this is going to be an easy match, because it's not. These guys, they probably went for 15 minutes, but this was a pay-per-view level match. Loved every second of it. Josh Alexander got the win. Mentioned the fact that he had his long run and it was cut, not because he got beat, but because he got injured. So I see them plugging in little storylines for later on down the road, but this was a great match. I'm starting at this point, I mentioned to you, right now TNA for me is ahead of AEW right now. Right. See, TNA is my number 2 right now. I love everything they're doing. They're hitting me with the storylines. They're hitting me with the matches now. They're bringing in a really good talent while having homegrown talent still there. You got a good mix of it. And I just like what they're doing. The production's still on the lower end, but, they're giving you what I want, which is the main thing. And a big match like this with 6 big stars in it, that's what I want.
Okay. So here's where I'm at with that. Because honestly, this whole segment that you talked about is the only thing I took notes on. I enjoyed the main event match. I am not. Yeah. This is the first Josh Alexander match I've ever seen. So this is not someone that I am invested in, having watched the show for 3 weeks. I know Eric Young. I'm familiar with Eric Young. The match was great. It was cool. But I'm not like, oh my God, I know I'm not going to pretend I know shit about Josh Alexander. However, I spit this, not the match, but the opening segment, because I don't believe in the system. I don't. I was watching this, and the promo from Moose, from Eddie Edwards, from the guy Brian Myers, I remembered his name this week. Dirty Dango out there. It was a very generic bullshit promo. TNA is TNA. We know who TNA is. And they're like, we are the most dominant faction in all of no, the fuck you're not. Let's be honest. And I don't believe you when you say it, because I think you know you're not. I really do. Like, I'm like, I don't believe you when you're telling me you're the most dominant, the best faction, blah, 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 blah. How Johnny Dango thinks he's the best wrestler on the mic and in the ring. You don't believe that shit. You know you're not. You know you're not. And I love Johnny Dango. I love Dirty Dango. I love Fandango. Like, but he's not the greatest mic worker, and he was not the greatest in-ring wrestler. And I know he's a heel and he's supposed to say that shit, but it all felt like very generic bullshit. The only part of this I did really enjoy was when he's like, I believe in the system works, and Moose looks at him, he's like, you're not in the system. You're not part of the system. Yeah.
You see, maybe that's why I'm more invested in it, because I know that all of it is kind of built on a lie, because it all started with Moose and Brian Myers as a tag team, and then the way Moose got the title was because he had to call your shot, like a briefcase where he used it on the world title.
There's context that I'm missing. So, like, from what I've seen in the last 3 weeks, they come out and they cut this promo, and I'm like, I don't believe any of this shit. And let's be honest, I could put you against the Bloodline B team right now, and I don't see you walking out with two Samoans and a fucking two Tongans. Like, you guys are not the most dominant faction. That faction will fuck you up.
Like, I look at this like when the NW start bringing in weird guys that don't belong in it, like
Horace,
Dango
and Stevie
belong.
Ray, and Brian Adams.
Like, I like Adams, Edwards, and Moose because they made it work a certain way. But now you're starting to add Dango. I'm like, okay, this is too much. And now I'm starting to see the whole thing with Moose, how he's like, you're not in it right yet. I see it down the line. I see him just turning on them all and him just being like, I'm doing this, the whole thing with the system just because I wanted the world title and just using them all.
So, yeah, that's where I was at. I was like, listen, but again, I don't have the context. I've got 3 weeks of watching this show, so we'll see how it goes. And if they can sell me on it down the road. Katie.
Yep.
Which one do you want? Which one do you want? The one I gave you last time or the other one?
I don't care.
Tuah or Swallow?
See, it's crazy because since that's the thing, I'm not going to spit it all this week. Just because I
mean, you can say whatever the fuck you want. You can just say spit. I'm just doing the Tuah.
I'm going to swallow Michin this week. She has been kicking ass, double duty this week as well as the past few weeks. Had a great match against Kalani, trying to take that North American Women's title from her. Did not succeed because Jada Parker was player hating and got involved and threw me off. Which hey, I get it. Michin slapped her ass during a pin. Jada's pissed, rightfully so. That's fair. It's on site between them. It's great. Michin had that, and then on SmackDown, she was part of the women's triple threat to qualify for Money in the Bank with Bianca and Chelsea. And
Chicago loves Chelsea.
Yes, they do.
Chelsea in the Bank. I'm not.
Chicago loved Chelsea. I love Chelsea. I was losing my shit. That was the last person I expected to walk out of that match and win. I'm not going to lie to you.
And that happened with all the matches, like all the qualifying matches.
No, because the men's qualifying match, I specifically called that winner and had to explain to my wife's best friend, because I'm like, this person's going to win. And she goes, no, he's not. I'm like, yes, he is. And then she goes, how did you know? But we'll talk about it when we get there. We haven't swallowed that yet. But multiple layers for the Michin. Are you on SmackDown, the men's qualifier?
Yeah.
Who won? You remember who won? Okay. Okay, so multiple layers of this Chelsea Green thing for me, because my daughter is a huge Bianca Belair fan. She stayed up to try and see Daddy on TV because I had a big, bright neon pink sign that said "Hi Zoe." So she actually, Kate was like giving me updates when CM Punk came out and got murdered. Zoe, I've got a picture of Zoe just sitting on the couch like this. She was very concerned about CM Punk and what happened. I'm like, that's my girl. That's my baby.
That's exactly how Matt was too. He was like,
but Bianca came out and she lost her shit. I took videos of Bianca. I woke up the next morning and showed her. She was all excited to rewatch the videos Daddy took at SmackDown of Bianca. So she was watching that. Chicago was all for Chelsea. Like, we were fucking hyped for Chelsea Green. We love Chelsea Green. It was fucking fantastic. And then, like you said, the stuff on NXT was great as well. We're building that feud between Michin and Jada Parker. Danny doesn't watch NXT, and she hadn't seen Michin on main roster in a while because she's been down doing that thing. So she was asking me questions. I'm like, yeah, no, she's been down on NXT, but she's with Gallows and Anderson and AJ kind of, and blah, blah, blah. A lot of great fucking spots in this match. Like, good time. Enjoyed the fuck out of it.
She did the Stars Clash, which was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Respect your elders. Respect Uncle Alan.
Mm-hmm. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with that, because he was pissed with them, and then they were pissed with him, but now they're fine. AJ with the Good Brothers and her. I'm still trying to figure out that relationship right now, because
they're all
he didn't need them. Yeah, he didn't need them, and then now he needs them now, and they're okay with it. And now she's doing the Stars crossover, so I'm like, decided.
No, she's done it a few times since she's been with the club, the Bullet Club, whatever.
Yeah, but it's cool. Like, I love the fact that she's on both shows, which is great. She should be on the TV more, and it's a way to do it, which I like. I like the thing with her and Jada. You were able to mix in the Good Brothers in the background, like making sure that OTM didn't get involved when they were trying to get involved, but then that's what gave Jada the chance to pop in on NXT. And then the crowd on Friday were just electric during that triple threat match. Like,
Chicago's always fantastic.
Yeah, the chance, they got crazy for Bianca, but then they got even crazier when she got thrown out by Chelsea and got the pin. So
even The Miz in a dark match at the very end of the show, because we had a dark match, Awesome Truth versus Dominic and JD, like, took the mic and he's like, listen, in the 20 years that I've been in WWE, I don't get cheered a lot, so I'm going to take this moment because this is really cool for me. And he's like, listen, whether you've cheered me or booed me over the last 20 years, every time we come to this town, you guys are fucking amazing. You always bring it, blah, 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 and just sucked our dick so hard. And I have always dreamt about having my dick sucked by a Mizanin, not the one that I got, but a Mizanin. So, like, it was a plus. Before I get into, I am stupid, but who wouldn't? Like, come on, it's Maurice. Come on. Anyway, before I get into my next Tuah or swallow, I promise, guys, this is the last week. We won't do this again.
Nobody's gonna watch this episode because you do it.
Patreon.com/Creation World. $1, 3 shows. This morning, I recorded World War III with Travis for Return to Wrestling. It is World War III 1998. That means Kevin Nash won World War III, which means our very next episode is the infamous Goldberg-Nash Starrcade match. And I think we all know how that goes down. So we also had some really good LWO conversations and some really good LWO shit here. A bunch of good shit. So please come check that out. You get that for $1, but that same $1, you also get Multiverse with Travis and Mara, where they do DC animated films. And next week at some point, we are going to record the next episode of If You Have to Ask. So that'll be dropping as well. That is an Am I the Asshole podcast where me, my wife, and occasionally guests sit down, read Am I the Asshole posts off Reddit. And you get a little look inside me and my wife's relationship, and how we feel about whether people are assholes or not, and jokes and fun and all sorts of good shit. So you get those 3 shows for $1. If you give us a little bit more money, though, you get shows ad free. But I'm not going to tell you what tier you have to pay for. You guys are going to have to go hit the Patreon, check out what we have to offer, and see how much that costs. We do have ads during our live show, though, and this week our sponsor is my favorite sponsor, and Travis is here to tell you about that now.
Want to spice things up in the bedroom? Then it's time to check out Adam and Eve. Did you see Adam and Eve is the leading adult toy store that offers a wide range of products to help you explore your sexual desires. Whether you're looking for something to use solo or with a partner, they have everything you need to satisfy your cravings. From vibrators to lingerie, bondage gear to lubricants, AdamandEve.com has it all. And the best part, you can shop with confidence, knowing that all their products are of high quality and backed by a 100% satisfaction guarantee. That means whether you bought a dildo, sex swing, penis ring, vibrator, anal sex toy, bondage toy, couples toy, lube, or accessory, you can get a refund within 90 days if you're not 100% satisfied. No questions asked. And right now, as a special offer to our listeners, Adam and Eve is giving you 50% off almost any item on their website. That's right, 50% off. And if you act now, you'll also get free shipping. So go to adamandeve.creationworld.com and use the offer code EROTICA at checkout. That's erotica at adamandeve.creationworld.com for 50% off almost any item and free shipping. Don't wait. This offer won't last very long. The link is in the description.
All right. You have no idea what that looked like in the break. So I was looking at my notes and I was trying to figure out. So I'm going to swallow the Braun, Sheamus, Sammy situation because we as a collective group, not vaguely, but like our friend group over in the CAF, have kind of been praying for the downfall of Sami Zayn. And these are two very qualified contenders. So we have Sheamus, who we all want to see win that IC title and finally become a Grand Slam champion. We have Braun Breaker, who murdered Ricochet last week and has been on a tear. But I have qualms about Sheamus calling Sammy his ginger ninja. I don't know why. The way he said that, I didn't like the way it hit the back of my just rattled around in my skull and made me uncomfortable. But we got Braun versus Sheamus, which ended in a DQ when Kaiser got involved. But like Braun versus fucking Sheamus, like come the fuck on. Like talk about big meaty men slapping meat. And then Braun and Breaker breaking Sheamus and Kaiser because fuck them. Kaiser got rolled. Then he puts hands on Sammy, and Sammy starts losing his shit. So, yeah. But I'm like Ginger Ninja. Jaxbo was in the chat. He calls himself the Ginger Ninja. I've got my favorite Ginger here, who is in a safe house because at one point he was a ninja, and he's hiding out. Bakley, thoughts on two fellow redheads going at it?
Bakley,
You're muted.
My man. I said it should happen though. You know, give us that limelight together. Hey, I don't blame Braun for still being mad though. Come on now. First, you keep him out of the King of the Ring. Now it looks like you're keeping him out of Money in the Bank. So what is he going to do? He's going to go into business for himself and go after not one but two gingers. You know, and especially for the IC title. It's a good way to transition him. Like he doesn't have to go for the world title right now. So next best thing is the IC title, and everybody's kind of tired of Sami Zayn. Like I like that he won. He's done well. Like his matches have been very good. It's just he's better chasing the title than he is having the title. But he's been good at having very good matches within it. But you know what? Let's have Braun Breaker just kill him now. So I'm ready. I'm ready for that.
So you're not mad at the ginger on ginger violence?
No, you know, it gets us on TV. So
hey, I hear you.
As long as it's not just in public.
Yeah.
The way my brain works aside, so he's like he's better at chasing than being champion. Blah blah blah. I thought how people said that about Cody, and then it reminded me like how cool it was to sing Cody's theme song with the entire Chicago crowd. And then
It's
me
fun,
and Danny
right?
got in the car on the ride home and listened to it, and, like sang it together driving home because like, home team, Team Homelander, like that's me, home team. But yeah, no, I'm stoked for it. I know Katie loves Braun Breaker and Sheamus,
And I don't feel bad for Kaiser either because you know what? He could have just stayed out of it and he would have been fine. But he had to interject himself. He had to attack Sheamus, and then Braun was like, "How are you going to try and upstage me here?" Then boom, that's what you get.
we could get a fatal 4-way for the IC title. Kaiser, Sammy, Braun, and Sheamus. And that would be, if they wanted to, that'd be a good way to get the belt off Sammy without Sammy having to take that loss right away.
Yeah. I haven't been Kaiser, you know.
Yeah.
God, get that off.
Katie, Tuah or swallow?
I'm gonna go Dynamite here. I'm gonna swallow Chris Statlander and Nyla Rose having a fantastic match on Dynamite. And Nyla Rose hasn't been on TV in God knows how fucking long, which is just disrespectful because Nyla was your second women's world champion. Disrespect. But Nyla's great, and Stat is Stat. Heel Stat is bonkers, and this feud she's got with Willow, I'm about it, because they're gonna put hands on each other, quite literally, because Stat qualified in her match for the Owen, and spoiler, Willow also qualified in her match against Serena Deeb, and they're on the same side of the bracket, which means these bitches are going head to head. And I can't wait. Because I like this version of Willow. She's still, like, happy and smiling. She's like, but you pissed me the fuck off. And now you gotta deal with it. That's a bad bitch. I love Willow. I got to see her fighting men on Sunday. So, like, it's a baddie. Don't fuck with Willow.
It made you happy. You've been waiting to see that, and you get it in your indie shows. You get it live.
Love it. All the intergender shit.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. We've been building that. That's a big deal. Willow versus Stat is a big deal. Like that. That's a very good story beat to tell going into the Owen Cup. It's going to be good shit. I am also going to go to AEW, but I'm going to swallow something a little different, but still involving women. One of Warren Hayes' favorite things, because I haven't talked about Warren enough in a while, is contract signings. We had one of those hosted by the love. Hey, JJ. Yeah, you should have. Well, actually, it was Vince. Shout out to Vince for hooking that up. Vince hooked us up with the new background. I do have the shirt on there, so I matched the show today. Hosted by the lovely Mariah May, we have the contract signing between Mina Shirakawa and Toni Storm. Mina tells Mariah to shut up, which I was like, okay. Then she calls Toni a legend and a star, but as champion, she's gotten soft and weak. Everyone wants Mina, not Toni. And at Forbidden Door, she's going to take her title and her girl. And I'm like, I love the confidence. Like, love that about you. Toni threatens to slap Mina's tits off and says the buffet is wide open, so grab a bowl. Which, like, Toni Storm is just fucking amazing. Then Mina tells Mariah, you got to choose. It's me or Toni. Pick. But before she gets a chance, our girl Saraya is sick of all of this. She's tired of hearing about it. She wants none of this.
Clearly.
And she didn't come alone, ladies and gentlemen, because if Mina Shirakawa, Toni Storm, Mariah May, Saraya, and Harley Cameron weren't enough, what is the fucking hashtag that Mariah May uses? It's
hot girl graps.
Yeah, if it's not enough fucking hashtag hot girl graps, bring in fucking Anna Jay too. Why the fuck not? Like, all the fucking hot girl grabs. Jesus fucking Christ. This was one of the most beautiful clusterfucks I've ever seen in my life. But no, they were kicking ass. Toni put herself through a table trying to save Mariah. Mina grabbed Mariah, dragged her up on the up onto the stage, and was like
counter
to her hip.
What were you watching?
I had a dream.
Jesus.
Listen, it's Pride Month, all right? Like, let me fantasize. Anyway, it is like I can support women.
Let me fantasize
in all facets, but no. I'm sorry, I apologize. No, she had her, and then like. Toni Storm's in the fucking ring, like put herself through a table, missed the hip attack. Meanwhile, Mariah's like cuddling up to Mina's thigh with her head on her hip on the stage. And commentary's like, what, where did Mariah? Why didn't you just leave Toni? Have you made your decision? Is it Mariah and Mina, or is it Mariah and Toni? Where are we going?
Well, they talked about it again on Collision tonight because Mariah and Toni had a tag match against Lady Frost and Layla Hirsch. And there was a lot of lot of sexual tension between Mariah and Toni, as there always is. But, like, they slow dance together, like, during the entrance. And, God, it's, you ever, like, see something, you're just like, why can't that be me?
Yes.
Why can't that be me?
Yes.
Okay, but I'm at least a fellow lady in this scenario. I want to be a part of the lesbians.
Kate believes in reincarnation, and I pray one day that I'm reincarnated as a woman so that, I can partake.
No, see, here's you don't really want to be a woman.
By the time I die and get reincarnated, you never know what we'll be in as a society. Like, you guys could be running shit at that point.
But, well, maybe. We'll see.
Oh, it's from fucking South Park, and I can't remember what the fuck it is, but Carbon freaks out that women are smarter and funnier and all this stuff, and he calls it the something in cum mines of Mars, where he thinks like women are gonna milk men for their semen, and I wish I could remember what the fuck it was. It was a something in cum mines. We might see that in the future. You never know. Like, we might just be there to like help reproduce, and that's it.
Yeah.
Swallowing all that shit though. Loved it. Love Toni. Love all the Toni stuff.
I love it. It's my favorite thing.
And hot girl wraps.
I love it.
Bakley, Tuah or swallow?
I'm going to spit. This is a quick one. I think it was on Rampage. She had Shingo Takagi wrestled, got the victory. You had Bryan Danielson come out, won to shake his hand because they're going to be wrestling each other in the Owen Hart tournament. And my guy Shingo said, no way. I'm not shaking your hand. I'm going to brush by you. This guy has been waiting a year and a half to wrestle Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson made it sound like he wanted the match first, but in reality, a year and a half ago, Shingo called him out, and then Bryan Danielson just never answered him, never called him back, just didn't do anything, and now he wants to shake his hand? I don't think so. I know that probably Bryan Danielson's going to win, but I think it's going to be a great match. But he got messed up trying to shake his hand after a year and a half. So
I agree.
Spitting that.
JJ is swallowing the PCO Steph DeLander dinner date on TNA, as well as AJ Francis coming out and putting Steph DeLander through a table as she was dressed as the bride of Frankenstein for their dinner date.
Yes.
And they were feasting on black pasta. That was the Steph DeLander special that PCO had made. So I still haven't gotten used to the lack of production down there. So I wanted to really enjoy this, but like due to the lack of production, it was kind of something. It just wasn't hitting for me the way I was hoping it would, and that's something I need to figure out and get the fuck over at some point as I'm watching this, because I know like you got to just accept it for what it is, and when I get to that point, I'll probably enjoy some of this stuff a little bit more. That's why I didn't have it in my notes, because like I'm like, this should be everything I enjoy and love, but something about the production was just bugging the shit out of me, and it was off for me.
Yeah, and he's one of the fan favorites, PCO. In TNA, they always try and bring him back. It's always his entrance is always good where he's laying down and they have to shock him to get him to wake up. And this whole thing with him and Steph it's been kind of weird but kind of cool at the same time, because
those TNA fans want PCO to get some pussy bad.
Yeah. It's been a good storyline, and I don't know if she signed or not. I don't know, because she just decided to show up a couple months ago, and then she just kind of hasn't left. So,
but Shingo Takagi, I think I said that right.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the fuck I used to call him. It was Bingo something, but neither here nor there. Bryan Danielson. And like for me, there's a lot of Mox's friends and handshaking, whether they're doing it or they're not doing it.
Yeah.
And I don't like how some people are doing it and some people aren't doing it. And there's always been, in my opinion, in the Blackpool Combat Club, even though the Blackpool part of the Combat Club is now working in NXT with his child, there's this lack of cohesion between what it feels like 3 members of the faction want to do, and then one other member of the faction wants to do that we never really address. Bryan Danielson feels like an outlier of everything that is Mox, Cesaro, and Yuta. So
yeah,
I'm with you on that. Katie, you know the question.
I know the question, and I have my answer. You don't even have to ask.
Hawk Tuah or Swallow?
God damn it. You brought up Blackpool Combat Club. I'm going to swallow Claudio Castagnoli and Pac because I would have bet my bottom dollar that Claudio would have won and moved on into the Owen. Pac got a win. Round of applause, folks. Tupac's getting wins now. And you talked about the respect thing. Pac was like, "Hey, what up, Holmes? Like, appreciate you. Good match." They hyped it up the whole show. Like, the two of them wanted to have this match for a while because they were in WWE at the same time, all that fun stuff.
yeah.
And Claudio just got out of the ring and walked away, and Brian was like, "Come on!" Like, Brian was on commentary. He's like, "It happens, buddy. You lose sometimes. It's okay." Like, and Claudio just walked away all pissed off. Which, like, I mean, I get it, but
well, no. See, that's the part that I really enjoyed, right? Because you talked about it. You said you bet your bottom dollar that Cesaro was going to walk out, and we had that promo from Cesaro earlier. Claudio Cesaro, he's Cesaro.
Get his name right.
Bet your bottom dollar that Cesaro was going to walk out. Cesaro did that whole fucking promo earlier in the night where he's like, "Let's go out there. Let's do this. Let's not do this for them. Let's do it for us." He bet his bottom dollar that he was winning that match. So when he lost that match, it did not sit well with him. Yes, Hawk Tuah. You got to spit on that thing. He was not feeling losing because he would have bet his, like, he went in that confident as fuck. He was walking out winning that match.
Oh, yeah.
So when he lost, it was not a good feeling for him. And I appreciate, like,
damn, it was a good match.
Props to AEW. Like, you know, we try and push that agenda here that you can be a fan of everything. You don't have to pick sides, right? We shit on some things. We love some things. I really enjoyed that main event and the whole, like, him being like, "Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this for let's do this for us, blah, blah, blah." And then be like, "Well, I kind of thought I was going to win now. Fuck you," because I'm not happy.
Like, "Oh, let's do this for us." I mean, let's do this for me. And I lost. Well, fuck.
All right. I'll stick to, I'll do some AEW. I'm going to swallow something that I've really been enjoying. I have come around as a hooker. I have over the last few months. Hook has sold me, but Hook, Samoa Joe, and Ciabatta bread, they went looking for Tony Nese and whoever the other fucking guy is, but nobody cares. Did not find them. They had a little, like, pep talk where Joe was talking to Hook, and he's like, "All right, when you go in there, you gotta be extra, right? You gotta be extra." And Hook goes in and goes, "It's goon time." And it's goon time? He goes, "You said be extra." He's like, we're gonna workshop that." Ciabatta doing his thing with the translator, and I enjoy the shit out of this. I really do. And that's a bad, like, joking and fun and funny aside, which they can do, that is a bad 3-man faction. Like, Samoa Joe, the son of Taz, and even though I don't know much about him from a first-hand point of view, Ciabatta bread, those are 3 bad motherfuckers that are together. They're picking on some nobodies. And yes, I said Tony Nese is a nobody. They're picking on some nobodies.
Well, developing news, sir. On Collision, that trio had a match against the premium athletes, wherever the fuck they are.
Yeah.
And Ciabatta did the Samoa Joe walk-away spot. And Samoa Joe looked like a proud father in the corner. He was like, "Hey, nice.
Hey, that's my move."
It's good shit. And then, you know, Chris Jericho is a thing.
Oh, no.
On all of my shows. And he was on Collision and had a match. And, you know, after the match, Joe and Hook and Shibata came out, and Joe was like, "I'll burn your goddamn tree to the ground." Basically, I'm paraphrasing. That's what he said. Yeah, I was about to do it, but no, I'm not giving anyone the satisfaction of me doing it.
Just once. Give us one.
No. Maybe we'll see. But he came out and I'm like, I'll burn your goddamn learning tree to the ground. So now, and this is just an aside. At Forbidden Door, because it's supposed to be like AEW versus like New Japan.
Somebody else.
No, we have another AEW versus AEW match. Joe, what did I call him? Joe Bada? A few weeks ago? Did I call him that on my show?
Probably.
I don't know on my show. Yeah. Hey, I called him Joke Bada because it's a combination of all three names. Are taking on the goddamn learning tree, which I hope they cut it down like the fucking Onceler and make Finneeds. At Forbidden Door, and I don't understand why we're doing this.
I can tell you why.
We can't get one pay-per-view without Chris Jericho.
Tony Khan books for the sickos, Katie. That's why.
No, he's a sicko.
I prefer you booking for the six, but he books for the sickos.
I would get it if Shibata was still in New Japan, but he's not. He's signed to AEW, so it makes zero sense.
Well, everything Chris Jericho has been doing for a while now makes zero fucking sense. So, like, yay.
Nice.
Way to ruin my fun.
Hawk 2. There you go. You got it. You got your one.
Yay. Daniel. Tuah.
I'm going to go to Smackdown and go to the triple threat qualifying match with Randy.
I was saying that for Katie.
It's okay. Go ahead.
I was, but you do you.
Go ahead.
I almost did it right after she brought up the women's. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna save that for Katie, and then she didn't get around to it. So this is on her now. It's all yours.
And so much shit that happened. Yeah. Trying to make it
spread it out, but and then you got Carmelo Hayes, Randy bringing back the double DDTs to them both. You had, of course, you got Tangaloa coming in to make sure that Kevin Owens didn't win. Kevin Owens injured his leg. And then out of nowhere, boom, Carmelo Hayes. When he shoots, he don't miss. Rolls up Randy Orton and gets the roll-up victory there. I'm loving the fact that they're giving the younger talent these opportunities with the Money in the Bank. We don't need the same old names. We might have one or two, but like we said earlier, we get Chelsea Green in it. We're getting Carmelo Hayes, and they're giving this younger talent. That's what I feel like the King of the Ring and the Money in the Bank. I feel like they're an opportunity for a younger talent to make that shoot up. And they did it kind of perfectly. They used several storylines to make it happen because they had of course, the Bloodline coming out to make sure that he doesn't win it, and then in return, it distracted Randy when Owens came out during the match to save Randy from Tangaloa, and then takes his eye off the prize, and out of nowhere comes Carmelo Hayes.
Now, I forgot about the Andrade one, which I'm pretty sure is what Katie was talking about when she was talking about people winning that we weren't expecting to win. I had only thought about Carmelo winning. And that's the one because Danny's like, Randy's winning, and if not Randy, it's going to be Tama. And I'm like, no, it's going to be Carmelo. She goes, he's not winning. I'm like, he is winning. And then he won. And she looked at me and she goes, how'd you know that? And I was like, well, everything Bakley just said. He's an up-and-coming superstar. That's what Money in the Bank is made for. And I was like, honestly, look at these three guys. Who do you think is going to put the better show on in a ladder match? Of these three guys, it's probably going to be Carmelo Hayes doing some cool shit. Like, this is somebody you want in a ladder match, even if he doesn't win.
The craziest shit. I'm so
and honestly, for me, I think he's going to win the Money in the Bank briefcase.
He would be obnoxious as fuck as Mr. Money
exactly.
in the Bank.
That's the one word that I said when I said he was going to win. And I said because he's obnoxious right now, and I'm like, it works. So I was like, you had a Raw guy win the King of the Ring, you throw a bone to SmackDown, have that guy win are there.
Yeah.
And it's a younger
First you
talent. You
want-
got Braun. You got Braun getting showcased as a beast over there on Raw. You want to do something with Carmelo Hayes, Mr. Finesse over here.
But if you want Chelsea to be Chelsea in the Bank, do you really want both winners to be on SmackDown?
Yeah.
Yeah, why
That
not?
is-
Fuck it.
I mean, they've done it before. It wouldn't be the first time,
Yeah.
but
Also, Andrade qualifying, which was awesome for Andrade because everyone was talking shit about they're misusing Andrade and they're not doing Andrade right. And they put the Speed Championship on Andrade, and he was better. First off, he was not better off in AEW. He wasn't doing anything better in AEW than being fucking Speed Champion or qualifying for Money in the Bank in WWE. So if your take is that he was better off in AEW, again, suck my fat one, you dime store hood. I love that movie. No, so yeah, all that. Like, so much shit happened. I completely just... Because Kevin Owens got injured and all the bloodline stuff happened. And
Yeah.
again, it flowed through the whole show, like, blanked. Because I was doing my best to take notes, but also take
You were in
pictures
the
and videos and hold a sign and, like, be in the moment, not just...
no, yeah.
Yeah. So, Katie, Tuah or Swallow?
I'm gonna swallow Charlie Dempsey having a crisis, like a personality crisis. I
He
don't
needs to
know.
back the fuck off my people.
It's so ridiculous at this point. All because ever since he lost the cup to the Dom of NXT, Tony D'Angelo, wave the flag. He's just been going down to this path of trying to be an Italian gangster, and it's just the shit he says, making everyone say capiche, and they're like, I don't even know what this means. And then trying to recruit Tavion, I think,
Yeah.
this past week. And Tavion was like, yeah, sure, I'm in. And Charlie's like, no, I'm gonna make you an offer. And Tavion's like, I already said, yeah, but okay, that's fine. So now Tavion has a match against Damon next week, and if he wins, then he's in the Baby Regal and Friends. It's every time it comes on, I'm like, what stupid shit is he about to fucking say? And it's making me chuckle. I know it's he's targeting your people, but it's funny as fuck.
Our people.
Well, I thought you meant like Italian Chicago's. Like,
No. Just because
Okay.
De Niro, who he's mocking, is not an Italian from Chicago. He's just mocking
Fair.
all
Fair.
Italian Americans. So back the fuck off my people, Dempsey. Maybe try and be British. You know, some of that heritage that you have.
he
Some of
looks.
that heritage that you actually have. Stop Connell.
It just makes me mad that he looks British and isn't British. Same thing with Timothy Thatcher. I say it all the time.
Dude, there's so much stuff still.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. Monday Night Raw. Swallowing Liv. Stealing Dominic Mysterio's vest. And then seducing him in the hallway if he wants his vest back. She's like, if you want it, take it off me. And Dom slowly unzipping that vest just for Damian Priest to come around the corner and be like, what are you doing? Like, as someone who's been caught by their dad in a compromising position, that's exactly what that felt like. Was like his dad just caught him doing some shit, and he's like, boy, you better get the fuck out of here before you get that girl pregnant. Like,
Also, like, Liv, take the hint. Back off.
what hint?
Maybe he
Keeps
shouldn't
backing
be.
away.
Maybe he should be liking her IG posts. Well, you know, but it says Dom on every single post.
Listen, yeah. He's like, oh, they took away the Twitter likes. They'll never find me.
Yeah.
Bitch, we got Instagram likes. We know what you're doing. We see what you do.
I just like Damian Priest and the whole thing. He's just like, I got enough to deal with right now. I mean, it's like Seth Rollins just came back. I'm dealing with Finn swiping
Basically,
car
what Seth
keys.
was saying.
It was like stealing with car keys, and now I got to deal with this. He's just like, come on, Liv, do me a favor, just leave him alone. You know, I don't need to be dealing with this now.
She is loca. She's loca.
Yeah.
She's
But
crazy.
she is. All right, Dan. Tuah or Swallow?
Just two.
I'm gonna go to NXT.
Tuah.
We got that triple threat tag match with the women. Still trying to figure out what's going on with JC Jane and with the mask, because she wore it over the mask that she already had on, but they're still calling her dashing kind of, so trying to figure it out. So it's more of like a gargle, because I'm trying to figure that out. That's part of it, but I'm liking this whole Roxanne and Lola Vice thing, we talked about earlier. Women you want on
Hot girl
TV,
grabs.
and exactly. So they gave me that,
Motherfucking
of
Jasmine
course, last week.
Nix.
Yep. The great match. Love the ending. But I'm like, what are they going to do with this? That's what I'm worried about here is what are they going to do with this? Because personally for me, I want Lola to win it. Because I think Roxanne, she's done it all. She needs to go up, not doing what she's doing right now. But I like how they're doing this because they're two heels right now. But it's like how they're doing it. It's like, I'm telling you right now, I'm gunning for it, but I'm not going to attack you from behind. I'm not going to do it. But then she hits her, stand there, and she just backfists her. And I'm just like, damn. I'm like, what's going on here?
And shout out to Lash Legend, because Lash Legend showed the fuck out in that match.
She has been consistently for months.
She really has. So, and now Jakara's back, so like we got that too. In ring doing stuff, and Jasmine Nix in ring doing stuff, and Lash in ring doing stuff, and Roxanne in ring doing stuff, and Lola in ring doing stuff. And hot girl grabs.
Hot girl.
Yeah. On NXT and AEW. I enjoyed all that.
I just enjoy the women on NXT. Like they just very talented. They're on. They try and get them on as much as possible. At times, I feel like they're on more than the men, and I have no problems with that because I like it.
I'm glad you brought that up because there's some stuff I kind of sort of forgot to talk about when Katie talked earlier about Mi Chin, because obviously Kalani defeated Mi Chin thanks to Jada Parker. But in that whole mix, speaking of women on NXT, we also had, follow me here. I look at the NXTers as girls in high school, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, Fallon Henley is a junior, right? Yeah. She's been there. She's not a senior. She's not ready to graduate, but she's been there a little bit. She's got some tenure, and she starts picking fights with all of the freshmen. All of the freshmen in the locker room. Then Soul, who I look at as a sophomore, she's bumped up one. She's just there to like support Kalani, which was good because Kalani's like, I want to give Soul a title shot after retaining and all that. Ariana Grace, another sophomore, is like, no, I want a title shot. So now we're also going to get Ariana Grace versus Sol Ruka to determine who's going to face Kalani next week. So I'm stoked for that.
I thought Kalani.
Yeah.
I thought it was just Soul versus Kalani already.
It had two different segments with it. The first one was the Fallon going to fight with the freshman. Soul was sitting there, and she just got up. She was like, I'm not dealing with this right now.
And then she went to talk to Kalani.
Yeah.
But Ariana Grace came in, and I thought they made a match between Ariana and Soul to decide who was going to do it.
It was with what's her name? It was with Avarine.
Ava Raine.
Ava Raine. It was Stevie Turner was next to her. It was, of course, Robbie, and then it was Ariana Grace, I think, was there.
Yeah, I could have sworn Kalani was like, I want my next challenger to be Sol Ruka, and they made the match for next week.
I thought they made the match for Ariana versus Soul.
Yeah, they were trying to make the match, and then Ariana was like, it should be me, not her.
They made the match Soul versus Ariana. Winner gets Kalani.
Yeah.
Exactly, I like my answer better. I just want Soul versus. Silver's
I want
clawing.
as much Ariana Grace as possible in the ring, and I also want to see her get her soul snatched live on TV. So, like,
Yes.
that's just
Oh, yeah,
we're getting a bonus soul snatcher. Don't complain about bonus soul snatching. All right,
God, I
You
love
you get one extra soul snatched before we get
And
to Kalani.
they're giving
Good.
Kalani the week off, you know.
Yeah. So, all about that. Katie,
Yo.
hot to or
Okay.
swallow.
I'm going to swallow MJF versus Roosh. I like when Max just scraps. Like last week he came out, just started beating the shit out of Roosh. We had no words exchanged between the two, and there was just fighting. Same thing happened this time. We were fighting all over the goddamn place, and I was about it. I was like, cool, good match, way to start. And MJF said Roosh earned his respect. He said it in a tweet, like, I'll count it, it's canon. He was like, Roosh has my respect, that's fine. And then I don't fucking know which CMLL dude it was.
Hechicero
Challenged Maxwell to a match at Forbidden Door. So that's gonna happen. And then, throughout the night, things happen. Daniel Garcia had a match with somebody, and I completely forgot to write down who it was against. And then he was getting beat up by people, and then MJF came out. Oh, no, he was getting beat up by, like, the fucking Gates of Agony and Brian Cage and all them.
Mm-hmm.
And then Max came out, and then Billy Goat, Will Osprey came out. And then there's a little stare between Maxwell and Will Osprey, and I was like, okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, they did the little booty bump back shots, turn around and stare.
I mean, both caked. So, like, makes sense. But, like, I was kind of, okay, so, like, obviously it's Osprey and Swerve, which Swerve needs to stop bringing up people's kids. Everyone needs to stop bringing up families, because
No, please don't. Please don't. Keep doing it. Let's talk about let's pause. Let's talk about that, all right? Because you got the Will Osprey versus Swerve promo battle. Swerve's like, listen, you're not ready for this. You have to be ready to give shit up. I gave up my friends. I gave up my family. I gave up everything to win this title, which goes back to Christian talking about how he's a deadbeat dad. Just mind you, you take away. If I take away your leg or I take away your arm, if I take away your ability to wrestle, who the fuck is Will Osprey?
Mm-hmm.
Who are you? Because you take away my ability to wrestle, I'm still a mogul. I'm still a rapper. I'm still an actor. I'm still all of this shit. I have built myself beyond what this is, and that's why I'm in the position that I am today. Then he says, say hi to your wife and kid. After Will's like, don't fucking talk about my family. Because he's like, you're going to have to, are you ready to give up your family? Are you ready to, blah, blah, blah. He's like, you just keep my, he's like, all right, but what if I want to make it personal? Tell your wife and kid I said hi. Then Will gets pissed off. And here's where I take issue, because he said that shit, right? And Will just got in the ring, got in his face, started. No, hit him. He talked about your wife and child. Hit him in the face. Why was there no contact? The fuck was that? You don't talk. If I don't give a fuck where I am, you say my daughter's name to me in a disrespectful manner, you are getting punched. I don't care if I can win that fight or not. You're getting punched right in the fucking mouth. Your boys might rush me in the end, but to quote Wyatt Earp, they might rush me, but I'm taking you out first.
I explained it to Savannah on our show. I was like, Osprey is Icarus. He's flying too close to the sun because he has his title that he has to worry about, that Daniel Garcia's kind of been eyeing up for a while, and he had a match with Brian Cage tonight on fucking Collision, and now MJF possibly might be looking at that title too, and now you're trying to face Swerve for his title, the title in the company, and you guys have personal history with each other. It's gonna start tumbling down. He's And like he brought up, I don't need Don Callis and I don't need the family to fight my battles for me, which that's gonna bite him in the ass because Don Callis is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So like that's probably gonna happen at Forbidden Door. So there's just a lot of moving pieces with this, and I'm very intrigued to see where it goes because I kind of want to see like the decline of Will Osprey, like mentally, and like slowly lose his mind and try and hit the Tiger Driver, whatever the fuck, on Swerve. But then, you know, subconsciously, he's like, oh, I almost killed Daniel Bryan with this. I can't do this. And that's what he's been saying. He doesn't want to use it because he almost ended Bryan's career. So, like, there's so many moving pieces with this. I'm very excited to see where it goes.
It makes me think if they have any plans to run that back? Because you have the whole thing where, like, the crisis of that, I don't want to do it. But then you have the winner of the Owen Hart tournament gets a shot at Wembley, and I'm not crazy, but I'm just going to say that Bryan Danielson's going to win that and get that title shot. And even though there's two different storylines that you can do with Osprey with that, but then you have him and Swerve because they're both from Seattle. They both came up from the same area that you can roll with. Because there's talks of doing him and Swerve in Seattle for his last match, two local guys and whatnot that they're trying to do. But it's like, but then you bring up the whole Don Callis family. When you watch him say things, well, I don't need them. You have Trent Beretta talking to Don Callis, but then you have Fletcher looking at him. So I feel like you're going to have a thing where maybe that happens where Don turns on Osprey, but then you get Fletcher going with Osprey, then you might get some of the
Empire boys.
You know, Empire boys come in to pick him back up. To even though he gets knocked down, maybe loses, but they help him pick back up, and then that's the start of him making that journey back up again towards it to when he eventually does win it. Because I think that you have to have Swerve keep it because I think he has the title. I think he has to lose that title that he has now, and he has to build himself back up before he can get that moment. There's too much going on with him to win it now.
There's too many people in every storyline. Also, Trent Beretta with glasses, smash.
Mm-hmm. Two things. One, in my head canon, Will Osprey is a huge One Direction fan, which is why he named his son Harry. Two,
stupid.
I have to. Tombstone is my favorite movie, so I have to do the quote correctly. And the quote is, "They might get me in a rush, but not before I turn your head into a canoe."
Is that literally what you were Googling?
No, that's not what I was Googling. I was making sure that Harry Styles was in One Direction before I said the One Direction thing. That's
you could have just texted me and I would have answered you.
It was quicker. You were talking. I didn't want to distract you.
I can multitask.
I know. Because I don't listen to One Direction. I was like, I think so, but also they're like, aren't there like a shit ton of Styles brothers? Were they all in? I don't know.
No.
No,
and then one last
who am I thinking of? No, I'm thinking of the Jonas Brothers.
I think of the Jonas Brothers.
I confused the Jonases and Harry Styles for some reason. I don't know why.
No, AJ Styles, Harry Styles.
and how is Osprey going to really be mad when he says, say hi to your family? I'm thinking like, wasn't his wife just on Rampage like a week ago in a match? With Anna? No, she was in a tag match with Anna Jay. That's what it was. And the week before, she was in a one-on-one match.
Wait, what?
Alex Windsor, his Osprey's wife.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Alan Harry.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna finish off my AEW shit. We're gonna. I am swallowing Young Bucks Acclaimed and everything that happened. Mostly just what led up to the match. Like the Acclaimed won. Okay, cool, whatever, fine. I'm cool with the Young Bucks losing. However, before I turn it in, I got a deep throat swallow everything Okada. So not only did they announce the lesser Jackson, since we're talking about the Jonases, the Jacksons, and One Direction and all that, as his brother with the pearl necklace. And someone's like, it's a pearl necklace because of the. I'm like, I know what the fuck it is, but it's still funny to me. All right, I don't give a fuck about his pearl necklace. I believe that was Savannah in your chat when I was in there, because I said his brother with the pearl necklace, and she's like, it's because he wears a pearl necklace, and I'm like, I don't care. I know what it was.
I don't remember anything from that fucking show. I was so tired.
But then also, Max Caster gets his mic cut off, so we don't have to listen to him rap by Okada.
Thank God.
Is backstage in the production truck and then apologizes. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, bitch." Enjoyed the fuck out of that. Good for you, Okada. Enjoyed all of that. Claimed it the win. Okay, cool. But the Okada stuff and then announcing Nicholas Jackson, Nickelback Jackson, Math and Nickelback, the brother with the pearl necklace, because of the two, I feel like if one of them is going to have a pearl necklace, it's Nickelback. Neither here nor there. Big fan.
No, Matt wears the pearl necklace.
Does he?
Yeah.
I thought it was Nick.
Mm-mm.
I can't tell the two apart.
I can't. Why? I've seen so many. Why can no one tell them apart? They're not twins.
One has a big forehead. I'll just say that.
No, I can tell them
Wow,
apart.
that's crazy. That's disrespectful.
Matt's the attractive one and Nick is the other one. I don't like Nick's face. I really don't. I've never liked Nick
One's
Jackson's
tall,
face.
one's smaller. Well, you know, they're not even the same height.
The Nickelback slander.
Listen, Nickelback is the Jeff Hardy of that tag team for me, all right?
Wow.
Matt is Matt.
That's insane.
Nick is Jeff. It is what it is. And they even like have the same hair scheme and everything. It works. Neither here nor there. Like, look at them. Look at them next to the Hardys and tell me which one reminds you of Jeff physically and which one reminds you of Matt.
No.
Just saying. But yeah, no. Mostly Okada and the Pearl Necklace line. Enjoyed that. Love that. Big swallow. Dan, Tuah or swallow?
I'm so spitting Okada's match with Ultimo Guerrero for the fact that they made Guerrero wear a mask, even though he doesn't wear one anymore.
With who?
Ultimo Guerrero.
Did a Guerrero and Ultimo Dragon do a fusion dance I didn't know about?
Yes.
I guess so. But
Should have been there.
He did the Rainmaker, and as he does the Rainmaker, the mask just falls off of Guerrero. Just falls off.
Okay.
Just
okay.
I'm just like, why does this just happen? They just acted like it didn't happen. He pins him, and then people are talking on the internet how he doesn't wear a mask anymore. AEW actually made him wear a mask, and it was not even his mask. It was somebody else's mask, and it just falls off. Just like, boop.
Now I'm Googling Ultimo Guerrero because I've never heard that before. That sounds like something Bakley made up, but it's not.
He's not making it up this time.
It's not.
Jose Gutierrez Hernandez, better known by his ring name Ultimo Guerrero. Okay. Jose Gutierrez Hernandez.
You don't have to roll every R.
No, you got to roll every R, otherwise Vince gets
Really?
Like you could tell during the match that things were going wrong because he couldn't see.
Yeah.
With the mask.
Yeah, that was stupid. I don't even think I watched that match. I think I was just laying on my bed watching TikTok because I just didn't care. I barely watched Collision.
That would have been better off, so.
Well, Katie, I'm going to give you one. I'm going to give one, and then we're going to close the show out. So hopefully your last one is one of the two last things on my list because I've only got two things left. So
shit.
Katie, Tuah or swallow?
I'm gonna swallow the women's triple threat qualifier
On
Raw.
Which saw
Zelina versus Kiana versus Io.
Who is
your daughter's favorite wrestler. One of.
You got one. You got one of them. There you go. We're good. We're going to end on a high note. Did it. Yeah, no, Io qualified for Money in the Bank. Zoe's happy. Big swallow.
It was a good match. Liv had to get her ass involved, and Zelina said, the fuck? So now it's probably going to be like Zelina versus Liv. I know
Zelina.
Exactly what.
That's on Zelina. All right.
I know.
She had no reason to put hands on Liv. She has no ties to Dominic Mysterio. She had no business getting involved in Dom and Liv's bullshit. All right. Zelina asked for that.
That means
why?
I don't know, but because Liv's champion, I don't fucking know. But that probably means we're probably gonna get Zelina versus Liv, maybe at Money in the Bank. Maybe.
Thank you, Sean's View ENT. Appreciate it. Yeah, no, I'm with you. Loved the triple threat. Obviously, my daughter's two favorite wrestlers, Bianca and Io. Io got the win. Bianca didn't, but Zoe got to watch Bianca. 1-1. I got live video of Bianca at SmackDown, so Zoe had a good week wrestling-wise. The final for the show is going to be a Tuah. I am going to Tuah Otis because Otis, I've been waiting for him to grow a fucking backbone, and what does he decide to do to grow a backbone? Instead of beating the shit out of Chad Gable, mind you, Chad got his just desserts later in the night. That was the first thing we talked about. Walks away, packs his shit up, and just decides to leave. This is fucking wrestling, Otis. We don't do passive shit here. We don't just walk away from fights. We don't walk away from our problems. You're a fucking caterpillar. You're heavy machinery, bro. Like, go in there and wreck some shit. Yeah, he was heavy machinery. Remember heavy machinery? Shout out.
But then you said bro, and I was like, ew.
I didn't say it like that idiot says it. But also hinted at Chad in the bank, which we're still going to get because he was cleared from death. So, like, if we don't get what we asked for with Carmelo in the bank, we might get Chad in the bank.
Gable in the bank.
Gable in the bank. Yeah, no, like, I am not happy in any way, shape, or form with what they have done with Otis in this feud with Chad Gable, where it's going, and how he's been portrayed, because the whole thing feels like it's been leading up to Otis finally snapping and beating the shit out of Chad Gable, and he took the abuse, and now when he finally stands up, just like I complained about Will Osprey, you said my wife and child's name to my face, and what do? Not throw hands? Chad's got a new peach. And he's protecting his new peach in Triple X Maxine. Otis, yeah. And
I mean, Otis pushed Gable.
Not.
So I was gonna say it's not what you wanted, but there was physicality done. Hey, maybe it wasn't even the Wyatt Sick6 that potentially murdered Chad Gable. Maybe it was just Otis, and they just left him there.
I'm in control here. And you're going to give me what I want.
Don't do this bullshit.
Give me what I want. That's all I asked for. I want Otis to Otis to win. I want Chad to win. All right, like I'm cool with that, but I do want Otis to like and end this and move the fuck on and let Otis be like the Otis that we had with Mandy, but this time with Maxine, because like Maxine's been sweet on Otis for a while, and I feel like there hasn't been the proper attention or progression to that fact. The OT stuff back when, Maximum Models, when LA Knight was a talent manager that lost his job to his sister, who is now part of the Alpha Academy. Like, that's a whole thing that we don't talk about or forget about. But anyway,
yep.
Dan Bakley, what was your favorite show you watched this week?
I would have to say that's hard because every show was really good this week. I'm gonna go with SmackDown.
Okay, Katie.
Okay, well, I know what your pick is.
Do you?
Well,
I fucking don't.
Well, see, typically what I do is, like, I always pick the show that, like, I go to if I go to a show, so I assumed you were just going to pick SmackDown. But, I mean, personally, I'm going Raw because I got the Wyatt Sick6, Seth Rollins, good shit. Gable wasn't actually murdered. Braun Breaker attempted to murder people, That's what I got.
I wanted you to say SmackDown so that I could be like, all right, SmackDown was the best show of the week, and I was there, but I was going to pick the Wyatt Sick6. So that's what I wanted.
Not how this works.
You guys split the difference, and now I got to choose between the two. Fuck. You want me to choose between, like, the thing that I was rock fucking hard for and the fact that I got to see CM Punk live in fucking Chicago and sing Cody
Raw down. Both shows.
I'm not picking. Fuck it. WWE was the best show this
Raw
week.
down.
Hands down.
Raw
period.
down was the best
Raw
show.
down. Hashtag Raw down.
Down.
All right. Dan, thank you for joining us. Please tell everyone where they can find you when you decide to start podcasting again, since this is your first show in months.
Yeah, when me and Mo have a chance to get back to it, you can find us on Wrestling Bro Ponds without the G. We're going to be coming back. Don't know when. Life gets busy and we got a lot to do, so we're on a hiatus right now. But you can find me on there if you want to just chat with me. You can find me on X as well at CageIQ. Use that primarily. So if you want to talk wrestling with me, find me on there and whatnot. But yeah, that's about it.
Katie?
You can follow me on Twitter, KatieRastin13, link to EROTICA, link to She Lead Showcase, twitch.tv/She Lead Showcase, and youtube.com/She Lead Showcase, typically Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern. I think this week we're actually going at the normal time, if I remember correctly. So yeah. Sometimes we do a Wednesday night show. I might need Matt's assistance in 2 weeks. To be determined. I don't know yet. She has to let me know. Her schedule's more busy than I am, and I do more shit than her. I don't understand. Getting off tomorrow, which Matt will talk about. I have a new vlog. I'm going to do an indie show. That's on the YouTube. And I have a video that I'm going to put out, I think, next week, if not the week after, that I already filmed, and I'm very proud of. So stay tuned.
Let me plug a few things before I plug myself. Right now, you can catch me on the latest episode of World Championship Wreckage, talking Fully Loaded 1998 with Will and Dad Had, who stopped by in the chat. That is available for you now, so go check that out. You guys can find that at World Championship Wreckage on YouTube. Tomorrow, I am recording with Mr. Fretz, so keep an eye out for that as well. That'll be dropping very soon. You can see me there. I've already plugged the Patreon and talked to you about the newest episode, World War III, which will be available shortly, was recorded today. Should be up very soon for you guys to get that as well. And I was recently on an episode of The Apron Bump, also talking World War III, but 96, not 98. So you guys can go check that out as well, because I've just been whoring myself around like the whore that I am for everyone and anyone that'll have me. You get me for cheaper than $20. Anyway, if you enjoyed this show and if you enjoy what the fuck we do here, you guys can follow me on Twitter at Matt Riddis, MATTRIDDER on Twitter, or at Getting Off, which is tomorrow. It is Trick or Trivia. Come join us as we do our trivia and see who joins Katie in the finals. We will have one more this year to determine the third person to compete in our final trivia episode at the end of the year to determine the champion. So come see who will join Katie. And then in another 3 months, we'll have one more and place our third finalist. But that is tomorrow night, directly after hashtag Them Dragons, which I am also going to be on. So come check out hashtag Them Dragons and then follow me into that show as well. That is 1 hour after House of the Dragons concludes. Like I said, at Getting Off, and then everywhere else, if you guys want to find me, TikTok, Threads, Instagram, and Blue Sky at Smackin It Raw. For Dan Bakley, Mrs. Katie Kinsey Bay, I am the patron saint of podcast and warden Matt Ritter, and this has been your #1 wrestling podcast on places where you can find people having sex on the internet.